Hello everybody, welcome to another video on Python for Linguists. The second one on regular expressions. There'll be two more to follow, one that is a bit of a segue, but anyway, they'll be focusing on regexes. This one is about searching. In the last video, we learned about matching, so to use regexes essentially as sort of in a Boolean context as a filter to keep certain words, throw other words out. Here we're talking more about taking a whole big text and using a regex to search for certain things that match a pattern in that text. Typically, the context that I tend to find myself using regexes most. It's going to be a very short video. The previous one was pretty meaty, so I'll keep this one fairly short and simple. That said, there will be exercises, so be ready for those as well. Um, so if we want to search within larger text, match only gets us a certain way. It only returns a match object if it matches at the beginning of the string. So we kind of already know where to look. Kind of have to have boundaries between words, but sometimes maybe we want to look at word units, right? And then this really doesn't help. It's not very useful in general if we want to check whether a pattern that we're looking for can be found somewhere in the string, in the text as a big string. So for that, fortunately, we have alternatives. Um, and the first and maybe most intuitive sounding one is research, which we can do very simply. Import regular expressions. Always remember this needs to be imported before we can do something with it. And then research will stick to the regex we defined in the previous video. House s question mark. So this matches house and also houses. So the s is made optional by the question mark, right? So match this pattern, or search for this pattern rather, here in the sentence. There are many houses in the city, but not every house is a home. That's gonna, unlike rematch, which is basically gonna return nothing, evaluate to false here. This is gonna give us something, but not exactly what we want. It has certain limitations that I've basically found to be so severe that I've really never used research. So it returns a match object for the first substring it finds in a string that matches the pattern, right? So again, here is just the code from previously repeated and assigned to a variable. So we call this search object now. And if we see what's in search object, what it found, again, we do this with dot group. It found houses, right? And then it just simply stopped looking. Research sort of really it searches for a thing, and once it's found it, the search is over, which is not generally what we talk about when we talk about a corpus search, right? We don't want to just find um, um, an instance of the thing, but we want to have all hits. So we need an alternative for that, and that's re find all. Syntax otherwise is exactly the same. Instead of search, we do find all. Re find all, our house is a question mark regular expression for the same sentence, right? And then a number of things happen. A number of things happen. There we go. The first thing is it finds houses and house. And the second thing is it doesn't just return a match object, but refindAll actually returns a list of all the findings, which for a lot of things we want to do is going to be quite handy, right? So it found houses and it found house. And if there be more instances of houses, really those two, in the text, then it would have an additional entry into the list for each of these. That is kind of very often what we want. And that is what we can then also think about, any form of be followed by a verb ending in ing, etc., or let's say a token ending in ing. We can search for this would be hard with the match condition because we're looking at multiple words, and the match condition makes most sense applied into individual words in a word list. But we can do this with refindAll. So refindAll tends to be my go-to method from the RE module when I do linguistic research. which is all I do. So it tends to be my go-to method. Um, yeah, it returns a list of all the sequences in the string matching the pattern, and that's, you know, just very useful for looking at feature frequencies. This is really all I wanted to introduce, right? Again, the challenge with this is writing complex regular expressions where you really get something out of some mileage out of actually using regular expressions. But there'll be a little bit of a chance to practice here, and we'll practice this together as well. So here is just one short exercise that really concludes this video. I said it's going to be short and sweet. So write a function that uses refindAll to establish the frequency of synthetic negation markers in a given text. For the purposes of this exercise, I don't want to get into any theoretical debates, but for the purposes of this exercise, let's say no, nobody, none, nor, nothing, nowhere, neither, and never. We can all treat as having an element of synthetic negation in them. Um, so basically, the frequency of these combined, right? Um, I'm not, I mean, sure, you could look at the frequency of each as well, if you wanted to, but I'm really interested in this exercise in the general frequency of the more abstract pattern synthetic negation at all. And as a bonus, you can elaborate the function so that it calculates not the absolute frequency, but the relative frequency of all these combined, normalized to instances per 1,000 words. That's cosmetic. Well, it's not really only cosmetic because it will ensure comparability for texts of various lengths into your function, right? Otherwise, you'll be comparing apples with oranges. Um, there's a solution. This is something you can do though. With all of the stuff in the last video, you should be able to probably going to need grouping behavior, be able to write this. And there are there are very straightforward ways of writing this that are maybe a bit inelegant, and then the more elegant, the more condensed you can get it, the better, right? But first of all, just find a solution to the exercise. And if you want to get some inspiration or a check of whether what you did sort of is in line with how I would do it, you can access the HTML slides and scroll down. That concludes this very short video. It is time now to conquer the world. We have all the means at our disposal, and we will rise and be prosperous with all of our Python skills. See you soon, and thanks for tuning in. Here are image credits. Should not forget those, and also these links I promised to the online slides where you can look at the solutions to the exercise. Thanks once again, and goodbye.